I asked all my friends and followers about their best musical hot take. In this video, I will address 10 music hot takes and give you my answer on them. If I did not get to your hot take and you're following me on TikTok or Facebook and you're subscribed to me on YouTube, feel free to comment what your hot take was and I will gladly answer you there. We're starting off with Jamie White from Facebook, and Jamie says that Kiss, they are not a band, they're a brand, most overrated band ever. Now, I do agree they're more of a brand than a band. I think more people know Kiss for their looks and their style than their music. I'm not sure they're overrated because that would mean that they were rated highly to begin with. If they are, I don't think they are. Personally, I'm not a big Kiss fan. I do acknowledge, again, their style, what they were doing. It's sort of like an innovative David Bowie type of stuff with wearing costumes and having crazy looks on stage. Highly rated music, probably not. But definitely style and innovation and costume, stuff like that. I do think they're cool in that regard. But if they are indeed highly rated as a band musically, then yes, they would be very overrated. The next hot take is Garrett Kellen, and Garrett says, for rock in the last 20 years, Avenged Sevenfold and those similar bands are better than a lot of music snobs give them credit for. Avenged, Atreyu, Bullet for My Valentine, they all have bangers we'll remember in 2050. Could not agree more. I always thought the hate for Avenged Sevenfold was so unjustified. They gave me modern day Metallica vibes. They always have. They play so similar. They lost the Rev back in 2009, their drummer, and yet still continued and still made great albums. Nightmare is the quintessential perfect album in my opinion. Not a big Atreyu fan. I know a couple songs from Bullet for My Valentine, but the Avenged Sevenfold hate, I've never understood it, and they've always had bangers, and they're still doing really well now. And their music is going to be just as good in 20 years as it is now. So yes, I agree. Next one is from Nick on TikTok at Schnozzy Music. He says Elton John is the greatest performer from the UK, hell, the greatest performer from Europe. This one is tricky because greatest performer meaning solo artist or overall, because overall he's in that conversation, but I don't think he's the best. Solo wise, absolutely. Elton John to me is the greatest pianist of all time. I know we'll say like, Beethoven or even the great Jerry Lee Lewis. Elton John put it all together consistently. He just retired a couple months ago despite being on the road for, he began I think 68, so he went forever and ever and ever. I love Elton John, so many endless hits, an amazing human being as well. If you mean solo artist, I could not agree more to this take as well. Elton John is the GOAT. The next hot take comes from Skydog Raider 0 on TikTok, and he says that grunge is overrated because it followed hair metal, which is complete trash. Damn, he just took a dump on the 80s and the 90s music. I think hair metal is better. I think grunge obviously you had Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana. A lot of those guys actually came from Seattle. To which the hair metal bands, you had the Van Halens of the world, you had the Aerosmiths, you had the Twisted Sister. I do think hair metal was better, but I do feel like at times grunge gets overrated. I don't think Kurt Cobain was this once-in-a-lifetime generational talent that people make him out to be. It's difference in music, obviously. Grunge was more downer, hair metal was up and ready for the party type of deal. I love Chris Cornell. He's my favorite from the grunge movement, but I do think grunge is overrated, but I don't think hair metal is complete trash, so I'm going to go 50-50 on this. Jaden from TikTok says that screamo music sucks. Shaden, I could not agree more. We went from Bob Dylan in the 1960s saying the times they are changing to someone pretty much screaming, "What the fuck is going on?" I don't know what they're saying. I have no idea what they're trying to say, and I'm not a fan of that music. So the quicker and better that people realize it isn't good, maybe the less of it we'll hear. Next hot take is Jim from TikTok. Jim says just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's bad. You're not supposed to like everything. Some music isn't for you. Of course, this applies to everything. It can be films, music, sports, whatever the case. You're not ever supposed to like everything. There is some music I can't stand, whether I like it or not. It shouldn't mean anything to anybody else. It's just my opinion. I view their opinion the same way. If they don't like what I like, so be it. That's how music is. It's subjective, always has been, always will be. Captain Produce 1 from TikTok says that Metallica is the most overrated band in history. Wow, we are swinging for the fences on these hot takes. I love it. I have to disagree with this one. There are so many more overrated bands. I don't think they're overrated. I think they're, again, a consensus top 15, top 20, maybe even top 10 band in some people's mind of all time. They are the standard for heavy metal these days. They are the most important band of the 90s and early 2000s, in my opinion. Do I think that they're top 5? No. I don't think they're even the best of their own genre, but I don't think they're the most overrated. I think there's so many more bands that are worse. This next one is Owen, Kurt's version, from TikTok, saying the Rolling Stones are better than the Beatles and Led Zeppelin are better than Queen. I think that you went 0 of 2. I like all 4 bands mentioned. I don't think the Rolling Stones are better than the Beatles, and I don't think Led Zeppelin is better than Queen. I think it's actually a hot take to think Queen's better than Led Zeppelin. A lot of people that I follow and listen to believe Led Zeppelin's better. I love Led Zeppelin. I just don't think they're better than Queen. And I love Rolling Stones, but I don't think they're better than the Beatles. Next one is Hayward Customs. They say practically anything heard on the radio requires the smallest bit of talent from the performers themselves. Everything is made for them. I agree to a degree. I'm not going to say someone's talentless, but I do feel like the talent in music has dwindled in the last probably decade or so, mainly because music has become so easy to produce and create. You can do whatever you want now. You can have a hit within, 10 minutes of just recording time. I feel like the musicians of the 60s, 70s, and 80s had more talent because they had less to work with. They took their time with writing their material. There was more of a human element to it, to which now it all feels kind of like contrived and robotic. I am a little biased because my preferred music taste is of that era of music, but I feel like today's musicians, for as good as they are, and there are some good ones, I don't think they're as talented as the ones that came before them, and that's mainly because technology and how easy they made music sound and how lazy the industry has gotten as a whole. Last one from Lowkey on TikTok. It says, hot take, the Beatles are a little overrated. Excuse you. I do not think the Beatles are overrated. I feel like a lot of people have said that. My aunt even believes that, and it's just like, how dare you insult them? They're the best band of all time, arguably the most important musicians of all time next to Elvis and Michael Jackson. They were tremendous for their time. They didn't even go on very long. It wasn't even a decade they were together, but their impact was timeless. Who knows what music would have been like if there were no Beatles. Thankfully, there's still 2 remaining, Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. But the Beatles and overrated do not belong in the same sentence ever, and I will advise you to please watch your mouth in the future. I plan on doing a lot more of these hot take videos in the future. As I said at the beginning, if I did not get to your hot take, feel free to follow me on TikTok and Facebook at Schnazi Music, or leave a comment down below on this video on YouTube. I will answer your hot take myself. Do not forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. I'm going to upload way more long-form content coming soon. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.